So how do you take a grain that most people have forgotten about and turn it into the next big superfood? Well, it's not just about what you grow. It's about what you do with what you grow. This is a story about vision, about strategy, and some incredible innovation. And today, we're going to meet the architect who really unlocked the potential of millets. So let's start with that big question. How do you actually start a food revolution? It's not as simple as planting a seed. You see, the real work begins after the harvest. It happens in labs, on factory floors, and in the minds of entrepreneurs. It's all about turning raw potential into products that you and I would actually want to buy. And right at the center of this whole transformation is one key person. You could really call him the architect of this incredible millet revolution. Let me introduce you to Dr. B. Dayakar Rao. Now, with his background in agricultural economics, he saw things a little differently. He didn't just look at a field of millet and see a humble grain. No, he saw a whole economic engine just waiting for someone to come along and turn the key. Because here's the thing, potential alone doesn't really mean much, right? You can grow all the millet in the world, but if nobody knows what to do with it or wants to buy it, well, you've just got a field of unrealized potential. And solving that was the real challenge here. The answer was to build what's called a value chain. Now, don't worry about the business speak. Just think of it like a bridge that connects the farmer's field all the way to your kitchen table. And every single step you take on that bridge adds more value, more creativity, and opens up new possibilities. And this breaks it down perfectly. You start with the raw grain, sure, but the real magic, that happens right in the middle. The innovative processing, creating brand new products, that's how you get a traditional grain into the hands of a modern consumer. So how did Dr. Rao and his team build this bridge? Well, not with bricks and mortar, but with ideas. They basically started inventing the future of food, one technological breakthrough at a time. And the scale here is just wow. Look at this number. Over 100 new technologies developed. We are not just talking about a new porridge recipe here. We're talking about creating things like millet-based pastas, breakfast cereals, snacks, even ice cream. A complete reinvention of what millet could be. But, a brilliant invention that just sits in a lab doesn't really change the world. And this is where the strategy gets really clever. Those 100-plus technologies, they became the spark for a new generation of entrepreneurs. Over 500 startups were launched because of this work. They weren't just creating tech, they were creating an entire industry from scratch. And it gets better. Out of those hundreds of startups, more than 200 of them successfully took these new ideas and turned them into actual products on store shelves. This is where the revolution really hits the street, right? Creating jobs, building businesses, and creating a real thriving market. And that's how you do it. You go from a few key technologies to a full-blown, self-sustaining ecosystem. It just becomes so much bigger than one person or one laboratory. This model was so successful, it went national, rolled out across 6 different states in India. Dr. Rao's team helped set up processing hubs. They partnered with huge global players like the FAO and the World Food Program. And get this, their work was so influential, it directly shaped national policy for the International Year of Millets. I mean, they weren't just changing recipes, they were changing laws. All of this incredible momentum, the new tech, the thriving startups, the influence on national policy, it was all building towards something massive, something permanent. Just think about it for a second. You've created hundreds of new technologies, launched hundreds of businesses. How do you keep that going? How do you protect that innovation and build on it for the future? All of that incredible energy and knowledge, it needed a permanent home. And that is precisely what happened. This is the critical connection. All of that work we just talked about, the value-added technologies, the successful startups, that became the undeniable proof that a global center of excellence on millets was not just a nice idea, but absolutely essential. The success of the value chain made the case. It proved that this revolution deserved a world-class home. So when you step back and look at the big picture, what's the legacy here? Well, the story of the millet revolution is more than just a story. It's a powerful blueprint. It shows us exactly how a focused, strategic effort can reshape an entire agricultural industry. Which, of course, leaves you with a really fascinating question. If one person's vision could do all of this for millets, what other forgotten foods are out there just waiting for their own architect to come along and spark the next global food revolution?